Good people, not so good people. I will let you decide where you fall. It is your boys. We are back another week, another episode, Monarchs of Wrestling. So it's your boy Cool McCain. And I'm joined as always on this side over here by my co-host, one, the Mister. Today we're going by the Playmaker. Playmaker, what's going on, sir?
What's going on, y'all? Let us be the first to say Happy Thanksgiving. It is Thanksgiving week. And when it's being Thanksgiving week, you know what event is coming up, which we will get into later on in the show. That would be Survivor Series.
Absolutely. So it's normal. A lot of things to discuss. Of course, when we have these big weeks, of course, when we're have a week hiatus, we are bringing to you a very limited commercial episode of Monarchs of Wrestling. Definitely tap in with your people. Make sure you share, like, subscribe if you haven't already. As we're gonna be digging into a lot today, a lot of information. Some will be Cliff Notes version, some might be a little bit more detailed, but just be prepared because a lot has happened. Playmaker, I know you like to flip it up a little bit, but how about we do the stat quo this week and start off with a little NXT talk, sir?
Yeah, very quick right off the jump. The AAA mixed tag team champions of Chelsea Green and Ethan All Ego Page defeated Finn Hale and Joe Hendry to kick off NXT. We had Dark Slate going against Leon Slater and Javon Evans, which Dark State took advantage of that one. And then for the Women's North America Championship, Blake Monroe defended her title against Soruka. A returning Soruka, where Ava was concerned if she was really ready for this match, but since Soruka was so persistent, she gave her this match. Good fight until the darkness of Blake Monroe came into play. And what I mean by darkness, she went for that injured knee, and she put that knee in a position to the point where some may not like it, some might understand. I'm gonna leave it up to my co-host to decide which side of the fence he's on. But Zarya threw the towel in, and Blake Monroe keeps the Women's North American Championship.
I'm gonna put it to you very simply. When you put yourself in an alliance with other people, when you allow other people to have certain capabilities in certain situations, out comes the outcome. If you stay a lone wolf, you don't have to worry about these things. Out comes the outcome.
I'm on Zarya's side on this one.
That's all I got to say, sir.
Because that knee wasn't 100% Blake Monroe do it, and she put some twerk in that submission. I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with the storyline that says that Soruka re-injured that knee again.
She did.
So I'm with Zarya on this one. She's looking out for the
Really
well-being of Soruka. Just saying. I'm on Zarya's side on this one. Even though I know people going to turn in and say that Zarya is holding Soruka back. Hey,
I hear you.
You have a knee injury. That thing was bent too awkwardly. And as most wrestlers are, especially the baby faces, they are too stubborn to know their limits. So somebody had to step in and say, "Okay, enough's enough."
Did someone have to step in, or did someone decide to step in? I think the proper words, whether you agree or not, is someone decided to step in.
Somebody decided to look out for the health of another person.
Quote unquote, to look out for the health of another person, because we can't judge the reason why she threw in the towel. And without knowing that, we can't say that it was necessarily to help her. Just saying. We got to have a devil's advocate around here.
I know that. I know exactly what you're doing.
Just saying.
From my point of view, yeah, doubt. So Worker might have been on the show for an entire year. It won for Zarya.
She still might be.
Possibly. Well, speaking of being in a group and trusting other people with your trust.
Yeah, that wasn't only just for that match. This was all
encompassing. Oh no, that's why I set it up that way. The Women's North American Championship was on the line as JC Jane got her rematch against Tatum Paxley. Okay, I would say this. Most of it, I'll say about 90% of that match was whew. You didn't know which way this match was going in for 90% of that match. Made you think one point JC Jane was going to win, and the next point it made you think Tatum Paxley was going to retain. You was like, well, darn, these ladies they really making everybody feel some type of way in this match. This match was much better than the first one, by the way. Much better. And then the turn that everybody had been waiting for. But it wasn't just one person. The entire group turned. Tatum Paxley, she falls out the ring. And then the calling struck Tatum Paxley. Now we both were asking, we both was looking at Easy Dane like we know what's coming, but did you expect the gentleman to join Easy Dane in this turn?
I'm not surprised. I wasn't really thinking that everybody would, but I'm not surprised that everybody did because everybody kind of had that same response. So when you look back on it, it makes perfect sense. But at the time, you probably wouldn't have put that together because the focus was on the ladies. But it makes perfect sense. Like, you know, we're gonna kick you out. And we're gonna kick you out. We're gonna kick you out. Like you ain't, none of us don't want to rock with you at all. You're a clown, basically. And what's going on, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights? Appreciate you tuning in. As well as one of our fellow part-time panelists, whenever she's graces us with her presence, Miss Yolanda.
You got a new YouTube channel, or you changed your name? Because that wasn't your name before. I'm curious.
And Chris Gallagher says WWE is the king of Supreme. Okay.
Man, he changed that.
Right. And what he was meaning to say, which, hey, this happens to me all the time, especially if you're doing voice to chat, like you're driving, AI be tripping. WWE is the king of sports entertainment. Fair enough.
Appreciate you, Chris.
And he also said Triple H is the king of kings.
Depending on what he got going on, my co-host might feel different on some weeks.
Oh, most weeks your co-host feels different.
So JC Jane is now a 2-time NXT Women's Champion. So we get to go with round 2 of this one. I didn't think we would have a round 2, but here we are, sir. We got a round 2.
Chris also says AEW is low-hanging fruit and bullspit.
When we get there, you can address that.
I can make it real quick. Personally, There ain't been too many differences if you've really been watching between WWE and AEW lately. So, except for AEW, to me, is a better pure wrestling company. So, if you're saying they're low hanging fruit bullspit, we can't act like the WWE's been doing great, and they haven't been selling out arenas either. Because there's been a lot of times where we've seen the footage where WWE's not pumping out like they say.
They made sure they showed up Madison Square Garden. I knew that much.
Well, I mean, it's Madison Square Garden. You can put a TNA in there and they sell out. In all fairness,
they made sure they was on their A game on that one.
I mean, you're gonna be on your A game on some spots. They probably even gave away some tickets to make sure everything was full. They don't tell us about it.
We ain't even had a full Titantron at Madison Square Garden. I was like, oh yeah, they sold out for this one. Okay. I can always tell if WWE is on one or not by the way the entrance looks. If they cut the entrance in half, okay, they on one. It's going to be one of them shows. Which I'll get into later.
Yeah, we'll get to some AEW and WWE stuff. So just hang in there with us, Chris, for a bit. We'll get to it.
But yeah, that was NXT from last week. If you have anything you want to say, you can move straight to TNA.
All right. So basically, the main point from TNA is this: Mike Santana is no longer champion because he had a match. He was winning the match. NXT decided to invade and beat the snot out of him and his opponent. Well, as he lay there beat down, somebody that has basically their version of Money in the Bank, Frankie Kazarian, actually the co-holder of it, decided to cash in his half, which got him a shot. And he beat Mike Santana, so he's a new champ. So,
I saw that.
The next week, Mike Santana comes out and says he's going to get his belt back. But before that, he wants to take out every person that had anything to do with him losing his championship. So he's going to fight all those guys one-on-one and beat them all down first. Then he's going to go back for the TNA championship. I like that because it's a different take. There's some other things that happen in TNA, but I'm just going to be honest. This was the important thing. If there's other things that my co-host wants to touch on, that's fine. But that was the important piece of TNA. Mike Santana just won a championship. They took it from him, but in a way that made sense. Now, the other half of that, I forgot what they call it off the top of my head, but the other half of that contract still has his, and he's still lurking. I believe that's Joe Hendry, if I remember correctly. But, one of the things is it's very interesting how TNA has begun to, at times, tell some really good stories. Sometimes the wrestling doesn't match up, but there seems to be some good stories at times. Sometimes TNA has really good wrestling, but the story might not be on point. But in those few moments where you can get the story and everything else to line up. And I want us to picture something. Frankie Kazarian, a guy that I think people have loved forever as a wrestler, whether you like his current gimmick or whatever gimmick he's on aside.
His antics.
And Mike Santana going one-on-one in the future for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That's going to be storytelling and good wrestling meeting. And it's going to be very fun to watch. So kudos to TNA for finding a way to craft this story and make it not necessarily Kazarian's fault, but just him doing what you believe anybody would do. The opportunity comes, you take advantage of it. So to me, that's the biggest story currently from TNA. Playmaker, anything that you would like to add to that regarding TNA right now?
I just want to see who's first on the list for Mike Santana. There's a lot of guys that came in. I just want to know who's first on the docket.
Yeah, I think he's going to start matches this week. Like I said, my biggest point of emphasis is just the story, because we don't talk about the story with TNA too much, right? We talk about the outcomes of what's happened, but we don't talk about the actual story too much. This is a chance for them to revitalize their ability to tell stories. I want people to make sure that they pay attention to that. And all these guys that Mike Santana are going to go through, they're just rooks. He's going to knock them all down. None of them are going to beat him. None of them are going to give him, I don't believe, too much of a challenge. But it's having a way to say, I'm going to be coming for the championship. But first, I have some other business to take care of. That's going to be multi-week, probably multi-month business. But when that's done, and we get to a big event at the end of the year or beginning of next year, I'll let you guys do the math. I think I'll be ready to get that rematch after I've handled my business. You feel me?
Like I said, I just want to know where he's starting it and how the pecking order is going to go. That's all I want to know.
Well,
who's first on the docket?
Pecking order, but I think this week he'll start having the one-on-one matches with those guys. But like I said, it should be a multi-month thing because there was a large group of guys that jumped them and beat the wheels off of them and caused them to lose his championship. So I think he'll be going after all those guys. Honestly, there's no real pecking order. They're all on the same level, disrespectfully. But they'll be helping him pick up some more wins on his way back to the championship, get some new momentum.
Interesting. All right, man. I'm good.
Yeah, we need some time for AEW, so, you know. So, speaking of limited commercial breaks, when I say limited, I'm not going to say we're not going to have any, but be many. So, this is your first limited commercial break, and then we'll be back right after this.
Hey, Eagles fan. Join my man Cool McCain and a host of others as they break down every single game, every single week in an objective manner, and also from a fan's perspective as well. Remember, this cast feels just like you. Nobody likes you. And you don't care. Fly, Eagles, fly. Eagles Elite Podcast. Every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and other podcast outlets. Rams fans all around the world.
It's a beautiful thing to be a Rams fan right now. Stafford's back. We will see about Cup. And running back Kerryon Williams to return.
Lend me your ears, or should I say lend Playmaker your ears, as he breaks down week by week everything in the Los Angeles Rams canon.
Number 99, Aaron Donald. Can't wait for 2029 to come to know that you are going in the Hall of Fame, and it should be first ballot, no questions asked.
Join the Playmaker as he breaks down everything Los Angeles Rams style in Ramily Talk on the Playmakers Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
Wednesday should be a fun show.
Also, I want to shout out the Rams for taking over the number one seed in the NFC. So big ups to you guys for
we had unexpected help.
You guys went out and handled your business. So shout out to you for being able to do such a thing, you know. And hey, see where things end up at. But hey, for right now, things are as they should be, because when you don't want to win, you don't win.
Hey, I'm happy my boys played a complete game Sunday night. I look forward to talking about that, I think, probably on Friday.
Yeah, I've heard about complete games. Just haven't seen one, but I've heard that they're amazing. Haven't seen one all season. I forgot what they feel like. So to hop into things there, AEW had a very interesting couple of weeks since we've last been here. So they did have blood and guts. The good ladies and the good guys, I believe, won.
I was gonna say, I didn't know what you was going. You said, I'm like, them ladies was not good in a positive turn in that.
Yeah, the match with the ladies was not anywhere near what I think a lot of people expected it to be. But there was the first female blood and guts match, so you have to understand the first time it's kind of hard to be really good because you don't have a president, you don't understand like how to book it or anything. So there was a lot of that.
It was
And,
a lot of bloodshed for sure.
Always a lot of blood. Yeah, always a lot of blood. Blood and guts match. They did do really well on the full on the blood part and the guts part, but actually having something that was meaningful, they didn't really do that. So that was that. Yes. So um, we'll go to the really gonna go to full gear. If that's okay with you. So I don't really care too much about Blood and Guts was okay. It wasn't like horrible, but it was a regular episode and some things happened, but not really to the level of
Satisfaction for
I
you?
feel like really need, yeah, or needing for us to really spend a lot of time on them. You know,
Full gear then.
Full Gear was an interesting event though. Those who know me know there's one person I hold in higher esteem, and we'll get to him because he was there.
Sounds like we finally had a return.
But before we get there, a lot of interesting things happen. Go ahead, sir.
I said, oh, sound like somebody made a return.
Somebody made a return. Well, all the garbage that I've had happen personally and sports fans wise all weekend, what I will tell you is I did get a birthday present that I enjoyed from AEW on my birthday. But that's neither here nor there. So my co-host likes to give me a hard time about going through some of the lesser matches. And what I'm going to say is today I'm going to agree with him. We're going to skip the crap. Okay. We're going to skip the matches.
Matter of fact, how long was this pay-per-view?
With the crap matches that no, let me not say that. With the poorly developed storyline matches, this is what I need to start saying. Right? I need to start being 100% accurate with what the problem is with AEW. With the poorly conscripted matches that did make sense for the time frame that we had, all with those included, this was a 6-hour pay-per-view. 6 hours.
Jesus Christ. 6 hours?
6 hours, sir.
On a Saturday?
And not only that, one of the matches was so long that part of it was on the pre-show and part of it was on the regular show. So we're going to start with the CMLL.
Hold on, I'm sorry. How do you have
There's no point, sir. We know that every time they do a pay-per-view, you do this. We know that there are 5.5, 6 hours, or 7 hours. As a matter of fact, they're normally 7+ hours. This one was actually short.
No, I'm not. I know, but I'm saying, how do you have a match that is a pre-show match that gets blooded into the main show?
If it can be done and it's outrageous, we know who's going to do it. And who is that, sir?
Oh my, Tony Khan, yeah.
AEW. AEW is going to find a way.
Tony Khan,
so
on, man.
CMLL World Trios match. Anytime that Tornado Powders is your favorite recreation event, when you're creating ideas for matches, this is what you get. World Trios Championships for CMLL. Mystico, Mascaro Dorado, and Neon defeated Kazuchika Okada, Konosuke Takeshita, and Hechicero. These are some tricky names, very much. So they started off the match without Okada, who decided he was going to come in late in the match.
Not late into the match.
Okada and Takeshita had some physical altercations in the match, and they ended up losing the match, of course, because of that. Then later in the show, Okada, Takeshita, and Fletcher all announced that they are going to be in the Continental Classic tournament. Okada is the Continental Classic champion, as one of the two belts that he has. And I'm no. All three of them are going to be in the Continental Classic, and I'm stopping there. No, you would not get me with that crap tonight. So Pac from the Death Riders, because they now have all of their guys back, all 70 of them. It's like 2/3 of the rest. No, about half of the roster is Don Callis family. The next biggest group is the Death Riders, and then there's just a bunch of guys spread out in little iffy factions throughout.
Oh, Lord.
So Pac from the Death Riders defeated Darby Allin. He had second-degree burns from blood and guts, and he got handled.
They let that crazy skinny use a flamethrower.
They let him use one, and then it backfired. So things happen.
You lucky. I can't say some words to you right now, Darby. You're lucky, because there's some words I want to use.
They're not concerned with having a long career.
And you know what words I want to use.
Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa defeated Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron, Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and Megan Bain and Marina Shafir in a 4-way tag team match. With a stipulation that the winner gets to pick the stipulation for their the semifinals AW Women's Tag Team Title Tournament match. So Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa get to choose theirs, in their semifinals match. So not really that high of stakes, but a way to get a bunch of the better women on the card and shrink it from 8 hours to 6. Oh boy!
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the mystique of Tony Storm is starting to fade away.
That's not. They're actually doing a wonderful job with Tony Storm. Tony Storm is being transitioned from having to be the champion to honestly going to be half of the first ever AEW Women's Tag Team Champions and help lift that and help usher in that division with a high profile champion. And that is important when you're introducing new championships.
There's one thing to introduce it. There's another thing to keep it interesting.
Okay, so yeah. So
I'm with you. I'm with you with the pick. I'm with you with the pick. I'm just saying, whenever they decided to take it off Tony Storm, where does that title go from there?
Yeah, but that's the point of putting it on her, letting them have a nice long run, and building up some other tag teams, not just two chicks to get thrown together. Because we know the history between Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. Like, we know that they're friends. They almost act like they're in a relationship, right? So they're close.
You could order right out my mouth.
Tony Storm's team lost. Actually, I was wrong. Tony Storm's team lost because they beat. I remember now. They had Mina Shirakawa, and they were just beating her and abusing her. And they were like, "If you don't quit, we're gonna keep beating her." So Tony Storm quit. So the good ladies did not win. I apologize for that misslip of my tongue, good people. The bad ladies won because they beat the dog poop out of Mina Shirakawa, and Tony Storm gave up so that her good friend, nay possible lover, did not sustain more damage. So yeah, it's a good storyline that they can build from that. That's the way they should be going. If they don't go that way, I mean, Tony Khan does have a powder tornadoes, so you can never completely trust a guy that has powder tornadoes, but that's the way that makes sense. All right, then we will move on to the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. We had FTR defeat Brodito and win the titles.
The sound of your voice doesn't say that it's very significant.
There's not a lot of significance. FTR has been boring for a while. They haven't been built up. They're the right choice, to be honest, but the way they've been built up to this, it makes you not care. New champions should make you care at least when they win the belt. So I didn't care when FTR won at all. I was like, oh, okay, FTR won. I mean, it makes sense for numbers, eyes, and people to look at them, but I thought Brodito had a nice little run. Maybe they'll end up getting him back. People probably see that nobody cares about FTR anymore because they put him with Stokely Hathaway and they turned him into boring bad guys that are like quasi the same personality they had as the good guys, which does nothing for fans. And it gives people that are not fans of AEW ammunition, like one of the ones we have in the chat. We'll get to it in a few minutes. AEW National Championship Casino Gauntlet match. First ever AEW National Champion was crowned. Not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm just going to say, with the help of his two cronies.
I was running.
Ricochet.
I was wondering how you were going to feel about this one. I said, when I saw it, I said, I wonder how Cool's going to feel about this.
Yeah. He's the first winner. And I will say this. This is an excellent move by AEW. This is an excellent move. You put a championship on one of the most hated men in all of wrestling. And he ran his mouth and popped and had help from his friends and all that. But let me ask y'all a question and see what y'all think. Here was the list of people. You tell me somebody else who would have made a bigger headline winning this championship than Ricochet. The other competitors, my boys Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, Kevin Knight, Roderick Strong, Mark Davis, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Daddy Magic.
Yeah, my only other option would be Shelton Benjamin.
But wouldn't that be a demotion for Shelton Benjamin? Because think about it, this belt is basically...
Like, if you're saying outside of Ricochet, who else possibly is Shelton Benjamin? I mean, we're not going to use Bobby Lashley for it, obviously. You name about 5 people who would in the match.
Well, you have to ask yourself when I say who else would make sense, I mean in the sense of who's the story. Shelton Benjamin wins is not a story. Right? There's no one else in this match who then winning it would have been a story. Besides Ricochet. Because you hate Ricochet. Nobody likes Ricochet but his babe. Nobody. The guys fighting with him, they don't like him. They just want to be on TV. Nobody likes Ricochet.
And part of the reason people don't like
he
it is
a
because
douche.
Of the babe. Which is kind of interesting.
I still like his personality. I still like his AEW personality. But nobody likes Ricochet. So having him be the first champion, instant heat on him. You're talking about it. Those other guys win. You mentioned it. The national championship is basically irrelevant in 2 months. But with Ricochet and his garbage personality and things, it's going to keep some relevancy to the championship. But we're going to be happy when somebody eventually takes the championship off him. So it makes sense. Every T you want to cross and every I you want to dot for a first champion, you're going to have a supreme baby face that everybody loves or a supreme heel that everybody hates. You didn't have a supreme baby face that everybody loves in this match besides maybe Bobby Lashley. But this would be a spit in the face of Bobby Lashley to make him the first international champion. Or whatever this belt's called. Who cares? Another championship. Like they get rid of one and they bring back another one. They'll get rid of another one and bring back 2 more. So, whatever. You don't need to remember it because it'll be combined with another championship and it'll be a brand new championship in a year anyway. So I digress. But this is the right move for this moment in time when you still believe this is going to be a prominent championship of some sort behind the, I don't know where this slots in because you got the TNA championship, the secondary championship, I believe for the men is the TNT championship.
Yep.
And then everything else has to fall under that. You got that other 2-in-1 championship that Okada has. I don't know why your third tier championship is the one that you decide to make it.
So he has the international championship and the continental championship, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's what Okada has. And it's the unified championship together. So this falls at least 4th down the pecking order. So it makes sense for this to be someone on Ricochet's level because he's about a tier 4 guy. So, yeah. If you're a Ricochet fan and you're kind of don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Just hug yourself. You'll be all right in the morning.
Well, my job's
the next match.
What I wanted for
no
the
holds barred. No holds barred match. Kyle O'Reilly, John Moxley. Kyle O'Reilly won. Kyle O'Reilly fought a good match. He won the match, but he lost the war. He got beat down by Jon Moxley after the match. If Kyle O'Reilly doesn't win this match, then there's no point in him being in AEW. So definitely, I feel like the right move was made there. Then we had TNT Championship match. Speaking of the second tier championship, not the fourth tier championship. Third tier championship wasn't even defended on here. They was like, instead of doing that, we're just gonna have them in a 3-man CMLL trios match. That's how much they care about the third championship. You follow?
That's when you happen. That's what happens when you have 50 billion championships.
There's no need to preach it to the choir, sir. Because all you're gonna get from me is a gas. Yes. Tell the playmaker. Yes. That's all you're gonna get from me. Because I have to disagree for there to be anything else. There's no disagreement. So, TNT Championship match stipulation. It is a no DQ TLC match with a bucket of tax. If Mark Briscoe loses this match, he then has to join the Don Callis family. That was the stipulation. So he had to put up his freedom to be able to get a championship match. And he won.
No freedom from you.
Hey, I'm not upset that he won. I think it was time. They did a real good package about filming everything for him. The package told you he was going to win if you watch that. But the important thing to me is he got that opportunity to really win. And I think one thing about it is you can't have him be like Ring of Honor champion and think that matters in this day and time. Let's be honest. Ring of Honor is a dead brand. Ring of Honor is a bunch of championships that they just basically took and moved to AEW. And they gave him a different show, a B show. And that's about what that is. I mean, it's no disrespect to the history of Ring of Honor, but what you are now is not what you were meant to be. It's not what you're destined to be. It's not the reason that you were brought into existence. And they did definitely defile Ring of Honor with what they did to Ring of Honor. I'm just going to say that. Good for Mark Briscoe. Good for Kyle Fletcher because he's also going to be in that tournament. He got mad and had a meltdown. Decided he was going to join the match as well after it. But the spot was Mark Briscoe did, and if you watch AEW, you know I'm talking about the Froggy Bow off a ladder through a barbed wire table. Yeah. And he also gave him a razor's edge and then closed it out with a J Driller on tap. J Driller is his brother's move. His brother was always the more like famous. His brother passed away in a car accident, and it kind of forced him to be a single star. And truthfully, it's been a little bit of a rough. How can I say this? It's been a little bit of a rough thing for him making that transition 100% and finding his own voice and character, not just trying to be like an individual version of a tag team. But he's starting to come into his own, and I think this will be very helpful to him for that long term. So shout out to Mark Briscoe. Now the only thing is, does he actually get opportunities? Or is it just going to be, he's a champion, great story, and then they do him like they did Kyle Fletcher? This is your secondary championship, AEW. Treat it as such.
They won't.
Do that. If you do that, you'll have success. If you don't, you won't. All right. $1 million match. The Young Bucks and Josh Alexander defeated Kenny Omega and Jurassic Express. The winners each got a third of the cash.
So you say $1 million, a third of that, we looking at already about $350.
About
somewhere close to that.
About 3.35. Actually, really about 3.33 each. But I digress. But So the important part wasn't that the Young Bucks won; it's that they made their decision. They're not joining the Don Callis family. They reunited with Kenny Omega after the match, and shook hands with Jurassic Express. So now we have the original three of the original members of the Elite back together as faces.
Interesting. How long this gonna last?
Yeah. So
I'm curious.
for those guys to get back to. All right, AEW Women's World Championship. I know we have some comments and we'll get to those, but I just wanted to kind of get through the card because it's a little robust. Chris Statlander defeated Mercedes Moné to retain her title. Mercedes Moné can win every belt except for the AEW Women. That's really all I need to say. Great match. They've had a better match, but a great match for I think where they were at, what they were in between, and what part of the show we're because we're over 3 hours into the show by the time the match started. You feel me? So you kind of like, yo.
Checked out.
You're like, bruh, I done been hyped, passed out, go back up, been hyped, about to fall out again. 6 hours. All right, AEW World Championship match. This is the final match of the show, I promise. Hangman Adam Page lost the belt to Samoa Joe. Oh, you take the belt off Hangman, blah, blah, blah. Why would you do that? I mean, kind of a great question. Hangman, it's a steel cage match that he wanted. So steel cage match, no disqualifications. Ends up the difference being Hook betrays him, clobbers him with the championship. Joe hits him with his finisher and pins him. Hook takes off his jacket to reveal that he's been a part of the Ops. So he's back with the Ops as bad guys. So the Ops Dojo came out. So the Ops Dojo was in the ring. Heyman got a little bit worked over a little bit. Then lights go out, come back on. Prince Nana comes out to the stage. Everybody's clapping. You hear a bunch of whose house? And then the screen says, whose house? And you think you're going to hear, if you're broke, catch your vibe, catch your foot. When I ride, big pressure. The whole song. You got a whole new theme song. Comes out, real quiet, real smooth, Prince Nana still dancing, but swerve. Gets in the ring. He's been cool with the Ops in the past. They had beef with when they were good guys. They had beef with Moxley and his boys like everybody else in AEW. But he starts hitting the Ops Dojo dudes. So Samoa Joe and them, they take off. They leave the Dojo dudes there. Swerve handles them, returning babyface, turning on the bad guys, Big Swole. And you see everybody almost out of the ring. One guy behind is getting ready to clock Swerve. This minute, an unlikely ally hops up, a guy that he came to help, and gives quite a clothesline to that last guy. And as the show goes off, we see standing in the ring together, looking up the ramp at the Ops, Hangman Adam Page, right beside Swerve Strickland. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how we ended Full Gear. And I'm going to tell you, on a personal level, that was quite a birthday present for me. And I enjoyed you, AEW. And people can say what they want to about you. You did one thing right. You changed a couple of championships, so you got a couple of new champions for people to talk about, right? Including your world champion. And you ended the show with something that makes people say, we got something to talk about. Now, people say what they want about AEW versus WWE, who's better and who's not. When's the last time WWE did that for us? When's the last time they gave us a big return to end the match and a new alliance that we never thought we'd see? All in one pop.
So we have a new world champion, a champion that I actually said should be champion at some point, which I didn't see coming to this point, but I did say that.
Yeah, I didn't agree. I didn't know if they were going to let him beat Hangman, but didn't agree. I like Samoa Joe as champion.
It's really Samoa Joe. Is Samoa Joe really a bad guy, or just what they just trying to?
No, he's a bad guy. He's
Okay.
a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Full-fledged bad guy. All right.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Okay.
He's a scumbag. I love it.
Well, you call him a scumbag, so he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
If Cool, I want y'all to know this. If Cool doesn't call a wrestler a scumbag, he's not a bad
guy. That's very true. If I don't think he's a scumbag, he's not a full bad guy.
If he don't think you're a scumbag, you're not a bad guy.
He's a scumbag.
You might be a tweener.
Yeah, he's a scumbag in the best way possible. So kudos to him for being the best kind of scumbag you can be.
So you have that, and now you have a fierce, and I mean fierce, heated rivals stand side by side because of a common enemy. Now, Tony Khan, only thing you need to do is cut, I don't know, maybe 3.5 hours out the show, and you probably have a great show.
He said 3.5 hours.
You edited it very well. You ended the show the best way possible. The problem is it took 6 damn hours to get there.
It takes a long time to get there, brother. It takes a long time to get there.
If you cut it in half, AEW could get some momentum going because it's like them 3 hours was worth it, especially because of the end. 6 hours. Only thing people remember what happened in the first half of the show.
Bro, the match wasn't hot between Monet and Statlander, but that's because placement. You know what I'm saying? Not that they weren't doing a good job placement.
Like you said, your women's championship match was at the halfway point of the show. Like, you can't have that. You can't have that.
Agreed.
But I ain't gonna talk too much because we gotta get to it.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a really good show. Shout out to them. They ended it properly to a point where you like, all right, I could really rock with like how they did it. So, got to give them props for that. Like we talk a lot about how this is that and whatever, but that was was supposed to be. And they did a good job. So, got to give them props for that. So that, we talk about how we're going to be limited commercials. We were limited to 2 commercials today. It's time to talk WWE. Let's go.
You know what? I'm not going to go in order where things happen. I want to jump around. If that's okay with you. All right.
No, we can.
So, the previous week, before last week, Nikki Bella decided to turn on Stephanie Vaquero. So last Monday, she attacked Stephanie Vaquero again, this time on the entrance way, and then finally to state why she did it. She wants to take back the division. Now, we don't know about the rest of y'all, but me and Koo knows. Nikki, you ain't taking about a darn thing. You're there to help build the other talent. That's it. You're just a name now. That's all you is. You're a name. I hate saying it that way because it sounds so rude, harsh. But you're just a name. That's all you is.
But it is true. It's not a lie.
So I want to get that out the way. We had Samoa Joe on Monday Night Raw for the Last Chances Now tournament. We didn't know who his opponent was going to be. And then all of a sudden you hear, I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Bring it on.
Whoa, my guys. Dolph Ziggler is here. Now this is interesting.
And things were exactly what they seemed.
Things was interesting. Because now, instead of just saying, oh yeah, Samoa Joe got this, is like, wait a minute now. Hold up. This is interesting now. Dolph Ziggler and John Cena have some history. And then you factor in the 7'6" giant out on the outside of the ring, and then you figure out what happened. By the way, he sold the brace off that Samoan Spike though. One day, Dolph Ziggler, aka Nick Nemeth, can do, he can sell his behind off.
Agreed.
And I love and props to Solo Sikoa. He's getting better too, because he sold the fact that he was in a fight and he didn't appreciate being in a fight.
Very true. Very true.
So kudos to those. Now, this is where things get a little interesting in some ways for my co-host, because the participants in this one, and the other case of how this whole segment went about. Alexa Bliss comes out. She calls out her friend Charlotte Flair because of what happened on the previous SmackDown, where Charlotte was like, "I can't do this because it's Rhea Ripley. I don't trust you. You don't trust me. I can't do it." And she walked out. Alexa calls out Charlotte. Because pretty much how you just going to leave me up hanging. I don't care about what you and Rhea got going on. You can't leave me hanging. In doing so, the Kabuki Warriors, the new women's tag team champion, and the team of Nia Jackson and Last Legend, who helped the Kabuki Warriors get them tag team titles off of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, surrounded the ring and ready to pounce on one Alexa Bliss until Rhea Ripley and Io Sky came about. But it's 4-on-3, so you figure out who was winning the exchange.
If you need some help, the 4.
They got the upper hand and pretty much beating the brakes off of Alexa Bliss. Charlotte came back to save her friend. This is where it gets interesting. Because while Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are working things out, and Charlotte is checking on Alexa Bliss, making sure that she's good, you have Rhea and Io in the ring as well. And why did Io just hug Rhea out of nowhere?
It was two teams and they were hugging each other, and then Charlotte points at Rhea, and Rhea nods at Charlotte and gives her a little wink. It was
awkward, but funny too.
It was
because it's Io.
Io was very huggy lovey since she left the damage control.
I don't even think Rhea was paying attention to what was happening. She just got a hug out of nowhere.
It really did look that way. It really did.
We couldn't help but laugh. It was like, really, Io? So I'm guessing
Io's really getting into this character.
I'm like, really, Io? Like, what is this? You hug your friend, I hug my friend?
Yep. It's my best friend. I hug my best friend. My best friend, my best friend, my best friend, my best friend. That's what it felt like. Yeah.
Like, interesting way to end the segment, but hey, sometimes making people laugh works.
And there were 4 sumptuous ladies in the ring, so there's also that. Just don't want anybody to forget about that part.
Like I said, in some ways, my co-hosts go one way, and in other ways, people are thinking the other way. So
that is fair. Just want to make sure we cover all the angles.
I know, that's why you're here. Now let me kick back up to the top of the show, because there was in Madison Square Garden, by the way, New York City. This was the final Monday Night Raw for one never seen 17 John Cena. By the way, who is the new Intercontinental Champion and a Grand Slam champion to boot.
I mean, it should be a double Grand Slam champion now, right?
He never won the Intercontinental Championship until
But he already
Dirty
had
Dom.
the United States, so that would have made him a Grand Slam with just that one.
But thanks to one Dirty Dominant Mysterio, wanted to pop up and be disrespectful, and out of all the places, Boston, Massachusetts, you got what you deserve. And John Cena was trying to help the guy too. So, any other night, I'll be fine with you doing this, but not this night. Just don't do it this night. And Dirty Dom being Dirty Dom. Put his foot in his mouth, and then all of a sudden he got beat.
Hey, Dom, I appreciate the fact that you were willing to sacrifice your championship so John Cena could be a double Grand Slam champion. Because that's basically what happened.
Yeah. Cena was pretty. Soon as I was watching that, I said, "Oh, he's gonna lose the title. It's gonna go to John Cena." Okay. Which is also actually a smart move because it keeps John Cena out of WarGames.
Was it a smart move though?
For me, I think so.
Out of WarGames?
I think so.
I don't.
Because he's on a retirement tour. You put him in WarGames. Anything can happen in that match if you get what I'm saying. Just look at last year.
Anything can happen in any match, though.
Anything can happen in any match. But the happen goes up another level when it comes to WarGames.
It depends on what moves that you are performing in WarGames, though. If you're safe, you can be like the Tribal Chief and be in a billion WarGames and never get hurt. Because the Tribal Chief doesn't get hurt. Other guys get hurt. They be taking chances that he's not going to take.
And plus how they set that up, which I'll get to. Yeah, I think that was a smart move. But Dirty Dom.
But carry on.
Okay. But Dirty Dom comes out and he wanted to rematch. He said, John Cena was like, hey, we can do it right here, right now in Madison Square Garden because I don't mind fighting. I want to fight one last time in Madison Square Garden. And Dirty Dom was like, no, on my time. My home turf, San Diego, California. WarGames. You got it. But John Cena says, I'm still like, leave it without a fight. So we going to get this on. And then the Judgment Day of JD McDonough and Finn Balor come out. So the question was, who was going to come out and help John Cena? Happened to be Sheamus and Rey Mysterio. I don't know how far up the list there was on yours, but there was not that far up on mine.
So I'll say Rey Mysterio was pretty high on my list to come out and help. Because, him and Dom, they've been kind of at it. So I'll say he was kind of high on my list. But Sheamus, anyone who sits here and tells me that Sheamus was high on your list of people to come out and help John Cena, you are an unmitigated liar. Or you're from the future. One of those two.
And we know the latter's impossible, so...
You're a liar.
Just want to throw that out there. Make sure we clarify that part.
Just saying. I was like, Ray gonna probably come out because him and Don got beef anyway. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna find a way to probably get Rey Mysterio out there. But when I see Sheamus run out there, I was like, why the fuck is Sheamus out there? Like for real, why is Sheamus out there? But hey. I
will say Sheamus, Cena, and Mysterio got the win of the Judgment Day, and I like how they did that match. That was a great way to kick off Monday Night Raw. I'm not gonna lie. All three men did the 10 beats out of battering on the Judgment Day. That was interesting. Sheamus paid nod to John Cena by switching roles with John Cena, so all three can do the 5-knuckle shuffle to the Judgment Day. So hey, okay, that's nice. I'm liking this. This is good way to kick off Monday Night Raw. I don't know how you feel about it. I thought it was a good way to kick off Monday Night Raw.
It was fine. I wasn't excited, but I didn't hate it either. It was fine.
Now let's get to the surprise of the week. Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch defending against Maxine Dupree. Now going in here, if y'all want to be completely honest, I think most people gave Maxine Dupree probably a 15% to win this match.
You're being nice when you say 15%.
Okay, 5%. He called my bluff.
Being nice. Okay.
5% chance to win this match. But something had, so I said, all right, either Maxine finna get this behind whoop throughout Madison Square Garden, or is only one person that can help Maxine win this match.
Agreed.
If one person come out, Maxine's winning this match.
And that person came out.
That person came out.
Oh boy.
Let's light it up. AJ Lee came
Once
back.
I heard, let's light it up. I'm like, well, new women's.
I said, oh, I dropped my phone out. I literally dropped my phone and walked in the kitchen. I was like, see, that's what I was looking for right there.
Yeah, as soon as I heard, let's light it up, I'm like, yeah, we know who wins this match. We are. It was clear, 100%. Match over. Stick a fork in her, she's done.
And sure enough, AJ Lee comes out, distract Becky Lynch, and Maxine takes advantage. And your new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Maxine Dupree. Now, Maxine, I hope you're ready for this task at hand. Because it's up to you now to make sure that Women's Intercontinental Championship still has some prestige to it.
So, I don't know if y'all seen the meme, but they had a meme of her and her brother, Max Dupree, a.k.a. LA Knight. Talking about first brother and sister duo to win Intercontinental Championships.
Hey. Shout out to him. Yeah.
That was hilarious.
The match that, how can I put this? I was looking forward to it, but not at the same time. My man Javon Evans, I was like, oh, Javon Evans is going to be in the tournament. All right, I'm with it. And then who they say he was going against, I was like, oh, Lord. Why him? Why y'all why you put Javon Evans? Like, really? Like, we know who winning this match. And that happened to be Gunther. But they did allow Javon Evans to put up a fight against Gunther. But let's be for real. As soon as you saw that Javon Evans was going against Gunther, we all knew who was winning. No, I was a little disappointed with that. I wasn't disappointed in the match. I was disappointed in the fact that I already knew who was winning. I'm like, dang. Gunther ain't losing in his return. That man was gone for like 3 months.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was clear the whole time. It was. When
At least when
announcement, we already knew.
At least when you did Solo Sikoa, you ain't make it. You made us think, okay, whoever Solo should win this match. But then when you sign out Dolph Ziggler's like, oh, wait a minute, hold up now. They brought Dolph Ziggler back. What we got going on here? And then Solo ended up winning. So he's like, oh, okay, kind of figured Solo will win, but you never know when they do comebacks like that. They did the same thing with Zack Ryder. Who Zack Ryder went against? LA Knight.
Mm-hmm.
On SmackDown, and LA Knight won, thankfully.
Whoa.
Thankfully, but hey. And then you want to talk about how endings? You talking about how good the ending was with Full Gear for AEW? Let's have a face-to-face. So you got Division out there with Logan Paul and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman and Drew McIntyre talking their shtick, and then CM Punk comes out, the Usos come out, Cody Rhodes come out. We finna have a brawl. Let's get the brawl on, and then you hear that darn guitar. And the look on CM Punk's face says, "I'm finna die tonight." I I actually like what they did on this one. You know how I feel about Cody Rhodes being on Raw, but I actually like this because they ain't come up with their belts. They belts are somewhere else. I'm like, oh, they ain't bringing the belts today. Oh, that means we fighting. We ain't changing no words. We fighting. You don't see no belts. You don't see us in no suits. We coming to fight.
No smiles, no kissing, no babies.
We came to throw these hands.
We here to beat your ass today.
I was like, okay, I can feel this now. You know, I can feel that.
Your ass beaters anonymous. Let's go.
And then you heard that darn guitar, and it's like, oh boy. Even though I already knew who the fifth member was for Team Vision. And it's like, oh boy, here he comes. Brock Lesnar destroying everybody. And then I'm gonna do this one time for my co-host. Paul tried to fool everybody. Want to throw the credits up there. Like the show is finna end. Where Brock Lesnar in the ring smiling because he destroyed Team Punk.
Or 4/5 of Team Punk.
But we were waiting for one music to hit. We were just waiting for one music to hit. And then you heard the drums. The tribal chief showed up. And the mayhem continued. It continued so much we had police officers out there. We want to talk about endings. Monday Night Raw ended in chaos. Did you enjoy that ending?
To an extent, but my problem again, we talk about elevating talent. And then everything we do is the same guys on top. It's not a way that you elevate talent. Roman Reigns shows up when he wants to. You can feel how you feel about that, but he shows up when he wants to. So why don't we have guys that are there or guys that are returning from injury that are going to be there full time being part of this highlighted match instead of the bloodline, but we just swapped out Cody Rhodes. The last Survivor Series match, we just swapped out Cody Rhodes for Sami Zayn. That doesn't further building up other guys. Cody has a championship. Why can't Cody can finish championship? Because he can't stay out of other people's business. So he can't defend his championship. Cody Rhodes should be in a championship match. Roman Reigns should be in a high-profile one-on-one match at this pay-per-view. We should have a Survivor Series, absolutely. And I do believe CM Punk and the Usos should be in that match because you're not doing anything else with them. Roman Reigns can come in and have a match with whoever you want him to have a match with. You could have other guys be a part of the good and the bad guy side. Brock Lesnar could have had a match with somebody else. I mean, honestly, if you want to be 100%, John Cena owes Brock Lesnar a ass whooping. So it's been a great opportunity for him to go out with a better showing against Brock Lesnar than getting mauled and manhandled and mutilated. Paul doesn't like that. Right? So there's other ways I feel like you should have went. I know there's a guy who was in a tag team, just like A-Town Down. That would have been a great fit for the fifth man on the Vision team of young upcoming guys with hunger, but who aren't established yet. On the face side, you could have had a guy like LA Knight. You know, so many other guys that you could have went with that were on the come up or still solidifying themselves versus Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. And the stick is true. WWE is going to have the problem of not having bona fide stars here in a few years because all their stars are late 40s, early 50s. And the guys in their 30s, they don't want to build up. So you better hope that Braun Breaker's a star because you don't give a crap about any of the other young guys. Right? Every time you get an opportunity to possibly get guys in positions, you take a huge dump on them. So good luck with that being a great long-term goal for WWE. But you might want to start at some point saying, we've got these high-profile matches. Maybe we need to start putting guys to build up in these matches and not just the same old guys all the time. Just some thoughts from a guy who's been watching wrestling since he was like 3 or 4 years old with his dad. Just saying.
Maybe this is what happens when you make the move to ESPN and Netflix.
That's not no, sir. I'm not gonna let you put this on Netflix, ESPN, or nobody else. This is the type of hogwash, poppycock, booty dropping trash that Paul has been doing since he's been in charge. This is not on ESPN. This is not on TKO. This is a Paul thing. I will not let anybody else take the blame for Paul.
Who said I was blaming ESPN and Netflix?
It's Paul. This is all Paul. This has nothing to do with any of those moves.
I was just saying, whether they back this up into a corner.
They backed themselves into a corner because Netflix is not performing. The show on Netflix is not performing like they wanted. And why is that? You don't have enough stars because you want everything to be about the same core group of people. If you don't care about those people, why are you even watching? Because your guy's not going to get a chance. You bring up Trick Williams, you bring up Obafemi, you bring up some of these other men and women. Unless they're Stephanie Valkyrie or Tiffany Stratton, you're not going to see them do anything. They're going to be a Lyra Valkyria. You go for being championship matches to team with a crazy girl.
You're a crazy girl.
My crazy girl, but still a crazy girl.
I'm going to make that part clear.
Hey, still a crazy girl.
That's cool's crazy girl.
Never denied it.
Quickly on SmackDown, JD McDonough answered the call for the Open US Challenge against Ilya Dragunov. Banger of a match. Dragunov retains. Carmelo Hayes upset Bronson Reed thanks to Cody Rhodes in the Last Chance Is Now tournament. DIY got a dub over Fat Sim, and Penta defeated Finn Balor in the Last Chance Is Now tournament. That's pretty much what you got out of SmackDown. So that brings us to the festival that is known as Survivor Series. All right, sir. We got 2 Survivor Series matches. We're going to start off with the ladies. I have a feeling the ladies going first. So you have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and AJ Lee going against the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and Becky Lynch.
I just want to say, they're scumbags. Oh, boy. Just want to throw it out there.
Who you got? The scumbags or the faces?
Honestly, I got the scumbags.
You got the scumbags.
I actually have the scumbags.
I'm going with the faces.
I figured you would.
Yeah, you probably say maybe a little bias on my part.
No, not you.
You probably say
No. Not your girl, Alexa Bliss. Not you going for your girls' team. No.
Man, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, and then AJ Lee. What you want me to say? No. And plus, come on, we're talking about Rhea Ripley here.
Yeah.
What? Matter of fact, when do I ever go against Mommy? Which is surprising that you're going against Mommy. Now that I think about it, I'm surprised you're going against Mommy because you don't go against Mommy like that.
I'm not often.
But you're doing it here.
I'm doing it here.
Intercontinental Championship match. Dirty Dom gets his rematch against John Cena. Because after this, we won't see John Cena until Saturday night's main event. So I'm guessing. I think John Cena retains, and that title gets put on the line in his final match, and whoever he goes against wins the Intercontinental Championship in DC.
I hate when I have to do this. So I have two different picks, whether the belt comes off him or not. So the question is, was him winning the championship just to get him, the double Grand Slam? Because they kind of act as Grand Slam, it's really a double Grand Slam. Because the Grand Slam is winning 4 belts, like 4 different belts. He's already done it. This makes 8 belts. It's a double Grand Slam. So, but that's a digression. If they want to course correct Dirty Dom and give him back the belt, get more attention in Judgment Day, he's going to get the belt back. If they want to continue to build whoever wins the John Cena Open Invitational for his last match, and it's a young guy, then they'll win it off of him in the last match. So it depends on if they want to course correct with Dirty Dom, and if a young guy wins. If a young guy wins the tournament, or that's who they have planned, then I think John Cena is going to keep the belt and drop it. If it's going to be whoever, and they just want to get the belt back on Don, they just wanted John to have it so he could complete the 8 belt domination, then it'll go that way. I'm going to guess they don't care about course correcting Dirty Dom, and they're going to put a young guy in that match against John Cena and have the belt on the line. A young guy or Sheamus.
Because my thing is, I think John Cena is going to do the job in his final match.
I'm thinking that depending on who it's going to be. I think he's going to do the job either way, but the significance of the Intercontinental Championship being on the line depends on who he's going against.
And if you want to know who I'm thinking it is, let's look at my sister's comment. That's all you got to do.
All right. So we got a few comments we're going to go over, but we're just going to go to that one right now. I got to find it.
It's the last one.
Got a comment for you, Playmaker. Barry Neal says, "Who is the main fight tonight?"
If they going away, I think they're going. We're gonna find out who on Team Vision will be in the match, and who from CM Punk team will be in that match, because they have to find out which team is gonna get the advantage for WarGames. So I'm thinking that's the main event tonight, but we don't know.
That's the main one. I agree,
but we don't know which two is going to be.
Which
in that
people
match.
are going to be in it? But yeah, it'll be somebody from Team Vision and somebody from Team Punk, in the fight for who gets, or some tag, however they're going to do it, because sometimes they be flipping it around. But they have to establish that tonight, because you got to have that as a talking point for Friday night.
Yep.
Good answer, sir. Good answer. Do you want to go to the comments before we finish, or finish and then go to the comments?
I'm ready to finish. Women's World Championship, Stephanie Victoria defends against Nikki Bella. I'm gonna see for the both of us. La Primera. Okay.
Heck yeah.
La Primera. Nikki is just a name. That's all you is. Which brings us to the men's WarGames match. Now, this is the type of pay-per-view PLE that I don't mind before matches, because you got 2 WarGames, and we know those gonna take time, a lot of time.
I don't ever like 4-match pay-per-views, so doesn't matter if you have 3. Doesn't matter if 3 of them were WarGames matches. 4 matches is not enough. Carry on.
Team Vision consisted of the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. Going against CM Punk, the World Heavyweight Champion, the WWE Undisputed Champion, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns.
I'll make this easy for you.
Now, you know who I'm picking. But I want to go to the point that you said earlier, sir. If they want to build new stars, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We know what team should win. But, like you said, what Paul and what they've been doing lately makes me want to go Team Punk.
So you have Cody Runnels, Joe Fatu, and Phil Brooks all the same team. With, Joe Anawai, with Rikishi's two boys, who Rikishi will kill you if they don't win matches. Against three semi-established guys. The big ticket Brock Lesnar, right? And then Psycho Drew. So two established guys and three kind of up-and-coming guys. If you're not picking the face team in this, you're not paying attention to anything that Paul has been feeding you for the past 3 years. It will be Team Punk. You could have at least one more match if you were to just cut 5 minutes, not even 5 minutes, cut 2 minutes, cut 2.5 minutes off all 4 of these matches that are already there, and you can have another match easy. They're not going to do that. They're going to give you Spotomania for 5 minutes each match that you didn't really need.
There you go. So if I'm thinking correctly, I think we only disagree on one match, and that's the Women's of WarGames.
Yep.
All right, sir, take us on.
All right, so we've got some comments here. You know, we like to get to the comments, but you know, today we had a lot to say, a lot to talk about. So we kind of decided we're gonna slide them in at the end here. So let's go back up to Chris, because Chris has a lot of rough statements here.
A lot.
Yeah, so we're gonna give him an opportunity to, you know, we don't have to agree with you for you to have the opportunity for your comments to be seen. So we'll start with your question to Yolanda. Yolanda says, I don't know why my name's like this. YouTube be tripping. Chris says, AEW is low-hanging fruit in BS. I've kind of given my opinion on that. Chris also says AEW can't sell arenas or draw big crowds like WWE does. They have events where they draw big crowds. They have events where they don't. I think the thing about it is it's presented like these companies are selling out arenas a lot, when I don't truly think they're selling out as many arenas as we believe. They use good camera angles. But if you're WWE and you're not outselling AEW, then you shouldn't be in business. Right? The head start that WWE has on AEW. Right? The name brand recognition, the 2 to 3 generations of people that grew up watching it. If you can't outsell AEW, you shouldn't be in business. Everyone should be fired and the company should just be dismantled. Like, seriously. It's not a real competition because you've got one brand that's generations in and one that you're just starting to be around long enough for, you know, kids that may have watched it when they were 2 or 3 to actually be able to know what's going on now. You know what I'm saying? So there's no competition. I love how people try to make this a competition, but it's really not. Yolanda says injuries is killing WWE. I would say they're killing all the companies. Well, not all the AEW as well. I wouldn't say all the companies because TNA doesn't have a lot, but I agree. But when you have more people like WWE, injuries are going to affect you more. Chris says WWE Survivor Series will be exciting to watch this weekend. Yeah, remains to be seen. Remains to be seen. If you can tell the future, you know, remains to be seen. He says, and I think you mean watch AEW anymore since CM Punk left and Cody Rhodes, which means you've really been a WWE mark the whole time, and they got some WWE guys, and you decided you'd watch then. The WWE guys are there, you don't watch. And it's not a problem, but it doesn't. I don't think watching that one time frame of AEW, not what they're doing since then, and then having comments on them is really valid.
Yeah, you watched that one time period.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I watched the first 3-4 years of it.
Yeah,
and that's when we had the Elite going against the Inner Circle. Like you had Maxwell Jacob Freeman being a scumbag and fresh to the wrestling mainstream. You were thinking Rolo might be the next big thing for the AEW side. I can keep going, but I'm gonna stop right there.
And then Chris says, I don't want to be critical, but I'm thinking more old school wrestling. Well, honestly, if you're more old school wrestling, you're getting more wrestling, old school wrestling from
AEW.
than you are WWE.
Because
It's like
AEW actually AEW will give you the wrestling matches that you look for.
Yeah.
They just suck at storytelling.
Yeah, so it's like you want to find reasons to be against AEW, but half of the reasons that you're saying is being against AEW are actually things that AEW are better at.
And the crazy thing is, Cool will tell you, I'm a WWE guy.
Yeah.
But I know what AEW is.
Yeah.
AEW is that show where hardcore wrestling fans love to see 5-star matches forever.
Except for Chris.
I'm a guy who likes substance to go with the action. What's the drama behind the action? Why did we get to this point here to where we need to go to this level of violence? That's just me.
Chris Yolanda says I didn't know he was champion in the first place. Yep.
I think she's talking about Ricochet.
Yes.
No, not Ricochet.
Well, he was.
No. Because when she came in, we was talking TNA. So I think she was talking about either Mike Santana or Frankie Kazarian.
Probably Frankie Kazarian because he won the belt in that bootleg way here. Chris says I used to watch AEW with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes when it started, but now it's gotten crappy. CM Punk wasn't there when it started, but that's a different story. But
CM Punk wasn't really there when Cody Rhodes was there.
No, he wasn't. That's a different story. Chris says TNA should be number 2, not AEW. I mean, clearly, you would be happy if Backyard Wrestling was number 2 and not AEW. I get it, man. Not an AEW fan. You don't have valid reasons, but you don't like them. You just don't like them. That's okay. But you don't have valid reasons. Chris also says, I'd rather have one promotion, WWE, TNA, NXT, and Lucha Libre AAA as one, not AEW. That would be the suckiest thing, and I would quit watching wrestling if that were to happen. And for you to suggest that is appalling to me. So if you're going to take everything and put it under the control of WWE, it's all going to be crap. Because WWE, when they don't have any competition, they dump in the toilet, pick it up, and make it a storyline. So if that's what you like, sir, count me out. Chris says, I don't want AEW to succeed. It doesn't deserve it. Well, lucky for AEW, they don't care what you think.
There's something going on between Chris and AEW because
it must be.
There got to be something. What does something?
Maybe apply for a job and they didn't call it back.
Did they do something to you? Because I mean, the only problem that me and my co-host has with AEW, and he watches it more than me, is the fact that Tony Khan likes to do what does he like to do?
Tornado powder sessions.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the problem. But hey, this guy clearly hates everything to do with AEW and it's deep-rooted hate. He says New Japan Pro Wrestling should dump AEW because AEW is not helping New Japan Pro Wrestling, I guess, at all. That's actually not true. They're introducing them to a audience who wouldn't even know who any of those people were without them.
But that's probably the only thing they're doing, though.
But yeah, again, not understanding. Just I hate AEW, so I'm just gonna say all this vitriol of hate towards AEW, even though it's not even accurate information, half of it. Chris also says I'm not happy with AEW and its presentation with New Japan Pro Wrestling at all. It hasn't been presented too well at all. I mean, it's better than what WWE does. You show up for a show and you have guys from NXT winning the AAA championships. You don't have Ring of Honor guys winning championships in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We don't take the B show or C show and have those guys win championships from other promotions. So, again, what you're saying just doesn't happen.
To each his own.
Yeah. John says, hi. What's going on, John? Thanks for tuning in. Chris then goes on to say WWE would give New Japan Pro Wrestling financial freedom and take New Japan Pro Wrestling to places they have never been before than with AEW is doing. Yeah, just like they're doing with AAA. AAA is so much better now. Half their champions being in WWE. Guys that can't even hold the jock strap of the WWE champions, the AAA mega champion. But yeah, they're just making AAA so much better and everything after buying them. Chris says AW. Oh, my bad. My thing flashed out on me for a second. Chris says AW is making New Japan Pro Wrestling a laughing stock. He doesn't watch New Japan. That's one of the things I've learned from what he's saying. Hey, if WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling started a partnership, you would like to see champions of New Japan Wrestling at WrestleMania next year. You're not going to see AAA champions at WrestleMania next year, sir. And they're not going to start a partnership because they're not going to go with the same company that's doing AAA. Chris also says New Japan Pro Wrestling champions at WrestleMania would be an all-star extravaganza at WrestleMania.
No, it
If
won't.
you don't watch, it wouldn't be.
No, it won't. Especially not in Vegas.
Chris says AEW is not helping New Japan Pro Wrestling. It's killing New Japan Pro Wrestling. I have to admit, Chris will give you those same 5 things in 10 different ways. He's thinking about it. 5.
You want to go through them.
New Japan Pro Wrestling partnership would be better than with AEW. Sky Blue was bleeding like a disgusting pig.
And smiling about it, too. She had a big grin on her face, too.
He also says AEW has to tone it down with blood. He says AEW is...
They let a guy use a flamethrower. What you think they're going to tone it down anytime soon?
Right. Yolanda says AEW has done this before.
I guess he was talking about me going off about the whole pre-match going into the main card.
Yeah, that was that time frame. Vicalaw is in the building. Vlock says what's going on in the Square Circle Kings. Playmaker and the most elite of Eagles, Cool Breeze McCain. What is up, Vicalaw? Thank you for tuning in. Yolanda says, oh, wow, AEW. And
the indie of AEW, yeah.
And then she says, love me some Swerve. Swerve is my guy. He wrestled. The wrestler, I think she was saying. She also says, and being fine as all too while doing it. Yes, I can start back watching now. I'm not watching because I think he's fine, but that would be uncomfortable if I thought that way. So I feel you. Vicola also says Dolph Ziggler returns a few days after Zack Ryder returned. Yep. And those are both seen as boys. And last comments we have here. Mike Santana.
Mike Santana. That's what she was talking about when she didn't know who had the championship.
Yeah, Mike Santana. This guy is crying too much about AEW. Move on, my guy, and just watch the WWE. The whole purpose of me reading through those was because I wanted people to understand this guy has really 5 gripes and 3.5 of them are incorrect. But this is a place where we say, hey, come here, let's interact, get your feelings out. So it would be unfair for us to promote ourselves to be one way. And even though we're say the same thing over and over and over different ways, then we still have comments, and we are a comment-driven show. So thank you to everyone in the chat, even our extreme AEW hater, Chris.
Certified AEW hater.
Certified hater. His profile picture need to have AEW and then hey, all over it. But it's a different story for a different day. Playmaker, any last thoughts before we roll on up out of here?
Enjoy the week of wrestling. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know I start this every year around this time. You watch my other shows, you already know it's that time of year. Check on your friends, especially those who may be dealing with depression, going through different things. Check on everybody. It's much easier to spend an hour on FaceTime talking to somebody. If you can't see them live, if you're not in the same place, checking on what it is. They have to put on one of those black suits and go to a funeral. It's a tough time of year. Things that we don't like to talk about happen during this time of year because of people's, personal situations and what they got going on. So just check on your people so that you don't know any, so that you could try to be maybe a light for somebody to make them have a change of heart and things they were possibly planning on doing. And it's never where you start. It is always where you finish. And we're finishing, I think, with another good episode. We'll see you good people back next week. And as always, Monarchs out.